Mirror addiction. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't play football. He performs a one-man show called Greatness, and everyone else is just part of the stage crew. From the moment he arrived at Manchester United with frosted tips and teenage swagger, you could tell this kid wasn't built for the background. He trained harder than anyone, ran faster than anyone, and celebrated like every goal deserved a military parade. That obsession with perfection built an empire of 5 Ballon d'Ors and 5 Champions Leagues. It also built the ego that follows him like a shadow, burning bridges at every club he's ever left. Real Madrid ended with tension behind the smiles. Juventus ended in frustration after 3 trophyless seasons. Manchester United ended with a TV interview where he trashed the club, the manager, and anyone who dared question him. Every exit carried the same smoke. When teammates scored, Ronaldo checked the scoreboard for his own stats. When managers rotated the squad, he saw betrayal. The player who demanded to take every free kick despite not scoring one in years became a case study in how ego can poison even the greatest talent. Former teammate Emmanuel Petit said it bluntly: "He tires everyone. His teammates don't want him in the locker room anymore." Even at 40 years old, playing in Saudi Arabia's Al Nassr, Ronaldo demands the same reverence he had at the Bernabeu. Same pre-match rituals, same spotlight, same refusal to let anyone else shine. He still takes free kicks from impossible angles when better options stand beside him. Fans at Al Nassr have started complaining that his ego is finishing this team, watching him wave off teammates and miss chances because passing might mean someone else gets the glory. The numbers are undeniable: over 900 career goals, records that may never be broken. But his greatest rival was never Messi, it was the mirror. Every time he stared into it, he saw a legend he refused to let age, fade, or share the stage with anyone else. Sister's birthday syndrome. Neymar's calendar has a glitch. Every February and March for 7 straight years at Paris Saint-Germain, the Brazilian superstar either picked up an injury or simply vanished from the squad. His sister Rafaela's birthday falls on March 11th, and somehow, like clockwork, Neymar found himself unavailable around that exact date year after year. Fans started calling it Sister's Birthday Season, tracking his mysterious absences like a recurring Netflix series. PSG paid him to be their talisman. Instead, they got a player who treated late winter like his personal vacation policy. February 2019 became the meme that defined him. Neymar showed up to his birthday party on crutches, painted crimson to match his outfit, surrounded by teammates and celebrities. 2 days later, Manchester United pulled off one of the greatest Champions League comebacks in history, eliminating PSG 3-1 on away goals. Neymar watched from the stands, helpless, while his team collapsed. The photos of him partying with designer crutches went viral instantly, and the narrative stuck like glue. The injuries weren't fake, but they were relentless. Over his entire European career, Neymar spent more than 1,000 days sidelined. An ACL tear alone kept him out for 272 days, basically wiping out an entire season. In 2023, Saudi Arabia's Al Hilal threw 90 million euros at him. Neymar managed 5 games in his first year. 5. The most expensive player in their history became the most expensive spectator. But the damage to his legacy wasn't just physical. The 2018 World Cup turned him into the internet's favorite punchline. After rolling around on the turf for what felt like an eternity following a light challenge, the memes exploded. People filmed themselves doing the Neymar challenge, dramatically rolling across living rooms and parks. His theatrics overshadowed his talent. The kid who once dazzled at Barcelona had become synonymous with diving, parties, and mystery injuries. Talent was never his problem, staying fit and focused long enough to prove it was. Player president. By 19, Kylian Mbappé was a World Cup winner. By 23, he was deciding who should take penalties, where he should play, and possibly who should sit next to him at PSG's dinner table. He became the first footballer who managed to turn a dressing room into a democracy with himself as president. When Mbappé renewed his contract with Paris Saint-Germain in 2022, the world called it the player power deal. Reports said it gave him influence over transfers, coaches, and the entire sporting project. That extension wasn't a contract. It was a royal decree where Paris agreed to orbit around Kylian's wishes. The evidence came fast. Sporting director Leonardo was sacked just hours after Mbappé signed his new deal. Why? Because Kylian didn't like him. They couldn't work together, so Leonardo was gone by 11 p.m. the same day. Luis Campos, Mbappé's former mentor from Monaco, arrived as the replacement shortly after. The 23-year-old didn't just have a say in club decisions, he had the final say. He clashed with the French Federation over image rights, publicly challenged Neymar on who takes penalties, and turned post-match interviews into subtle reminders of who really runs the show. Behind that calm smile is a player who treats football like chess. Everyone else moves, he controls the board. Now he's at Real Madrid, a club that already worships superstars and has a locker room packed with egos the size of the Bernabeu itself. The big question is simple: can he share oxygen? At PSG, he was the project, the centerpiece, the untouchable star. At Madrid, he's surrounded by Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, and a legacy that existed long before he arrived. Power is addictive. Once you get it, you don't go back to being just another name on the lineup sheet. For Mbappé, the throne only feels right when he's sitting alone. Time will tell if he's learned to share it. Cringe King. Antoine Griezmann might be the most embarrassing superstar in football history, and that's not about his talent, it's about everything else. In 2018, he produced a documentary called La Décision, copying LeBron James's infamous TV special to announce whether he'd leave Atletico Madrid for Barcelona. The world tuned in, cameras rolled, and Griezmann dramatically revealed he was staying. Atletico fans celebrated. Then, 1 year later, he joined Barcelona anyway for 120 million euros. The fan base that once adored him felt betrayed and humiliated. Supporters burned his jersey outside the stadium gates, and the Frenchman went from hero to villain overnight because of a documentary nobody asked for. But the cringe didn't stop there. During France's 2018 World Cup final victory, Griezmann scored and celebrated with the Take the L dance from Fortnite. In the biggest match of his life, watched by 1 billion people, he did a video game taunt that literally means you're a loser. Fans cringed globally. It wasn't just the Fortnite dance though. Years earlier, Griezmann dressed up in blackface as a Harlem Globetrotters player for a costume party, sparking international outrage and forcing him to issue a groveling apology. His attempts to be funny, edgy, or relatable kept backfiring spectacularly, cementing him as football's most awkward superstar. At Barcelona, the nightmare continued. Despite the massive transfer fee, he was played out of position, struggled to fit the system, and eventually found himself benched for 19-year-old Ansu Fati. He returned to Atletico on loan, tail between his legs, trying to repair a relationship he destroyed with a self-indulgent documentary. The tragedy of Griezmann is that he's genuinely talented. World Cup winner, multiple trophies, over 250 career goals. But when people think of him, they don't remember the titles. They remember the Fortnite dance, the blackface scandal, and the documentary disaster. Talent was never his problem, being himself in public was. Social media obsession. Paul Pogba returned to Manchester United in 2016 for £89 million as the prodigal son, the midfield maestro who would restore glory to Old Trafford. Instead, he generated more Instagram posts than assists. His second spell at United became a masterclass in how to prioritize brand over ball. While teammates battled for top 4 finishes, Pogba released a documentary called The Pogba Documentary, where he openly discussed wanting to be happy and hinted at leaving. The timing was catastrophic. United was struggling, fans were frustrated, and their record signing was filming content about his feelings instead of dragging them up the table. The social media obsession followed him everywhere. Flashy haircuts changed weekly, emojis flooded his captions. Every training session became a photo opportunity. His agent, the late Mino Raiola, stirred constant transfer drama, publicly stating Pogba wanted out while United tried to salvage their season. The player who lifted the World Cup in 2018 with France became a cautionary tale about how modern football's distractions can swallow talent whole. He left United on a free transfer in 2022, joining Juventus for his redemption arc. It lasted 12 games. In September 2023, Pogba tested positive for testosterone after a Serie A match against Udinese. The ban came down like a hammer, 4 years, later reduced to 18 months on appeal, but the damage was done. His career, already derailed by injuries and inconsistency, was effectively over at 30 years old. Pogba posted on Instagram, "Everything I have built in my professional playing career has been taken away from me." The statement went viral, sparking debates about fairness, supplements, and responsibility. But underneath the tragedy was a player who never quite figured out that being a footballer required more than looking like one on social media. World Cup winner turned doping cautionary tale. from Manchester's most expensive signing to sitting out the prime years of his career, scrolling through the wreckage of what could have been. Burger Boy. Eden Hazard arrived at Real Madrid in 2019 as their €100 million Galactico, the man meant to replace Cristiano Ronaldo and lead them into a new era. On his first day of training, he showed up visibly overweight, not slightly out of shape, overweight. Cameras caught it, fans noticed it, and the Spanish media pounced immediately. Hazard admitted it himself. "It's true, I can't lie, I put on 5 kilos in the summer." He claimed he could lose it quickly, that his body worked that way. It became the running joke of his entire Madrid career. Fast food rappers, vacation weight, zero discipline. The Belgian who dazzled at Chelsea had turned into a punchline before kicking a ball. The Burger King incident made it official. In February 2021, Hazard missed training due to yet another injury. Spanish sports show El Chiringuito asked on Twitter, "Hazard didn't train with the team today. Why?" Burger King Spain quote tweeted it with 4 words, 2 for 1 at Burger King. The tweet exploded. Over 100,000 likes in hours. Fans roasted him mercilessly, and the nickname stuck forever. It wasn't just one preseason either. Hazard turned up overweight in both his first 2 campaigns at Madrid. The club brought in nutritionists, chefs, and fitness specialists. Nothing worked. He kept getting injured, kept missing games, and kept looking like someone who enjoyed life more than football. And that's exactly what he said. "I came to enjoy life," Hazard admitted during an interview. The quote haunted him until retirement. Over 3 seasons at Real Madrid, Hazard scored 1 La Liga goal per year. 1. He appeared in just 76 games total, spending most of his time in the treatment room with ankle problems that never fully healed. By 2023, at only 32 years old, he retired. The player who once terrorized Premier League defenses, who carried Belgium to a World Cup semi-final, ended his career as Madrid's most expensive disaster. Talent was never the issue. Burgers apparently were. Temperament time. Vinicius Jr. plays football like it's personal. Every dribble, every celebration, every stare down carries emotion heavy enough to power a stadium's floodlights. He came to Real Madrid as a skinny kid with raw speed and questionable finishing. Over time, he turned into the club's lightning bolt. Flair, fury, and fireworks all wrapped into one explosive package. The only thing faster than his footwork is the way his emotions flare when provoked. Opponents learned early that the best way to stop Vinicius wasn't always a tackle. It was a taunt. Rough challenges, words whispered in his ear, or a little shove after the whistle could flip a switch inside him, turning a football match into a personal duel between him and the world. In Spain, that tension became national news. Vinicius has been racially abused from stands, booed mercilessly by rival fans, and mocked by opponents who know exactly how to get under his skin. The league's referees have had to adjust entire match protocols because of how often tempers boil around him. Carlo Ancelotti once said, "Vinicius has the soul of a fighter." That's true, but even fighters need control. For every jaw-dropping goal where he humiliates 3 defenders and buries the ball top corner, there's a moment where he argues with officials instead of tracking back, leaving his team exposed on the counter. He's the kind of player who can destroy defenses one week and nearly get himself sent off the next. His talent makes him unplayable when he's locked in. His temperament makes him unpredictable when he's not. The crowd joins in, the tension escalates, and suddenly it's not just a football match anymore. It's theater, chaos, and emotion all colliding at once. Vinicius thrives in that fire, but the question remains, can he master it before it burns him? Right now, he's walking a tightrope between brilliance and disaster, one bad tackle away from an explosion that could cost his team everything. Nightlife king. Manchester City paid £100 million for Jack Grealish in 2021, expecting magic. What they got was a footballer who plays like he's late to a festival and lives like every weekend is a stag do. Videos of Grealish stumbling out of Ibiza clubs travel faster than his assist statistics. Paparazzi catch him more often than defenders do. He's football's version of a rock star, socks halfway down his calves, shin guards smaller than common sense, hair gelled to perfection even at 3 a.m. When City fans expected their record signing to terrorize defenses, they got a player whose off-pitch headlines competed with his on-pitch contributions. Pep Guardiola's system nearly short-circuited him. Tactical diagrams, positional discipline, endless, don't lose the ball speeches. That's football school. Grealish is recess. He dribbles like the ball owes him money, holds possession like he's admiring it, and ignores passing lanes that lesser mortals would exploit. Pep drilled discipline into him over time, turning him into a reliable left-wing worker bee who contributed to City's 2023 treble. But once the champagne was uncorked after lifting the Champions League, the real Grealish reappeared, singing on parade buses, dancing with beer cans, fully leaning into his celebrity side quest while the cameras rolled. The danger isn't that Grealish parties, it's that the party is becoming bigger than the purpose. He's got everything a Premier League star dreams of: trophies, talent, and a spotlight that follows him everywhere. The question is whether he'll keep performing for the fans on the pitch or for the cameras outside the club. Right now, on loan at Everton, he's trying to rediscover the hunger that made Aston Villa fans worship him. But when you've spent years being football's nightlife king, it's hard to remember why you wanted the crown in the first place. The narcissist. Zlatan Ibrahimovic once said, "I can't help but laugh at how perfect I am." The scary part, he meant it. This is a man who narrates his own mythology with every quote, goal, and eyebrow raise. From Malmö to Milan, from LA to the San Siro, Zlatan carried himself like a walking headline generator. Reporters didn't even need to write metaphors. He provided them himself, wrapped in ego so thick it could stop bullets. At Ajax, teammates said he practiced kung fu kicks during training just to remind everyone who was boss. When most players wanted respect, Zlatan demanded worship. His confidence started as fuel and turned into a religion. At Barcelona, he clashed with Pep Guardiola, calling the legendary manager a philosopher who should stick to thinking after being told where to position himself. Pep wanted a system, Zlatan wanted freedom. The two couldn't coexist, and Zlatan left after one season, publicly trashing the coach on his way out. When he joined LA Galaxy in 2018, his first message to the city was a full-page newspaper ad that read, "Dear Los Angeles, you're welcome." Not, "I'm excited to be here." Not, "Let's win together." Just pure, unfiltered arrogance packaged as marketing genius. Even retirement couldn't mute him. During his farewell speech at AC Milan in 2023, Zlatan told the crowd, "I say goodbye to football, but not to you. You're welcome." The stadium erupted, some laughed, some cried, everyone remembered. That's the Zlatan effect. His narcissism became his armor, his arrogance became his brand, and somehow it all worked. Over 500 career goals, titles in 4 different countries, and a legacy as one of the most entertaining personalities football has ever seen. He's proof that if you're good enough and bold enough, you can turn ego into empire. Most players fear being disliked. Zlatan fears being forgotten, and judging by the quotes alone, that will never happen.